A standoff that lasted most of the day came to an end in Ypsilanti Township. The Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office says it was called around midnight to an apartment complex where a man barricaded himself inside after stabbing and killing someone. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig has more now from Ypsilanti Township.
Hours after negotiations that included relatives trying to convince him to come out, the homicide suspect eventually surrendered. Now the investigation begins into what sparked that deadly stabbing.
It's crazy. It's crazy and stressful, especially on us residents that got to live here.
The 27-year-old suspect barricaded himself in a friend's apartment shortly after Washtenaw County Sheriff's deputies began looking for him early this morning. He was wanted in the fatal stabbing of a 44-year-old trans woman who was found in the parking lot. Friends say she also lived here at the Aspen Chase Apartments on Gulfside in Ypsilanti Township. Her name was Nari.
She was brilliant. She was vibrant. She was very lifeful. She lived her life to the fullest.
A number of people who know both the victim and the suspect believe it was over a $10 debt.
To him, that $10 may have been $1,000 to him, as in we see it as $10.
A few hours after barricading himself in a friend's apartment, that friend came out or was released by the suspect. Several more hours passed with members of Metro SWAT surrounding the apartment building and relatives of the suspect also trying to convince him to come out.
Kind of scary for our kids, and that this neighborhood is turning bad. I'm really nervous. It makes me want to stay inside more, and it's really sad that it's coming to this.
So our crisis negotiators have been adamantly trying to communicate with him. Eventually, he actually started listening to direction. He put the weapon down, he stood up, and he followed directions all the way out, and then our SWAT team was able to peacefully take him into custody.
And we've learned that earlier this year, the same suspect was involved in a brief standoff with deputies here. That too ended when he surrendered.
We have had several interactions with the suspect. I don't have all the details on how all those ended and wound up what those charges were.
People who know the victim say she was not worried about the suspect or anyone because she didn't bother anyone.
She was never really actually worried about anybody. She pretty much stayed to herself. She was who she was. She didn't bother nobody. You always saw her skipping around the parking lot. So she didn't bother nobody.
We can really focus on the investigation. What happened, why it happened, how he got in that apartment, what the friend's role was in this, and again, unfortunately, really focusing on how the person lost their life.
In Ypsilanti Township, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.